Welcome to the Louisiana Business and Industry Show. And now, your host, Tim Johnson.
Entrepreneurs create small businesses, and small businesses are the backbone of our economy. One of our state's bright young entrepreneurs, Carey Guglielmo of AST Marketing Group, joins us tonight on the Louisiana Business and Industry Show.
The Louisiana Business and Industry Show will be back right after this.
Founded in 1984, BIC Alliance and its subsidiaries connect business and industry buyers and suppliers with one another for the betterment of all. BIC helps companies grow in three ways: aggressive sales and marketing campaigns in BIC Magazine, finding the right people through BIC Recruiting, and by merger and acquisition and related services through IVS Investment Banking. Contact BIC Alliance today.
The funny thing about Louisiana is that people don't often ask you why you moved home. They just accept it as the most natural thing in the world. Because of course I would want to move back home and be near my tribe, be in this beautiful landscape. It just inspires me. Whether it's a golden marshland, an expanse of sugarcane fields, a sunset through a cypress swamp, the outdoors here really are like nowhere else. You can start your day off paddling at Lake Martin, finish it off with music at the Blue Moon. I came home for my dream job, but also because I believe in Louisiana and where it's going. We're building a world-class Central Park in Louisiana, planned by the members of this community. And I just bought my dream home, a sustainable house designed and built by the architecture students here at the university. My electricity bill was $30 last month. The life I thought I would have in Austin is actually happening right here in Louisiana. I'm E.B. Brooks. I have the job I want in the place I love.
At Peak Performance Physical Therapy, we treat the athlete in everyone, from the soccer star to the soccer mom. If your doctor prescribes physical therapy, ask for Peak Performance by name, getting you back in the game of life.
Insurance commercials have become unusually funny. We think that's strange because we take auto coverage pretty seriously at Louisiana Farm Bureau Insurance. Of course, when you cover as many vehicles in Louisiana as we do, it doesn't leave a lot of time for silly gimmicks. We're more concerned about what happens to you on the road than any chickens that happen to cross it just to make you chuckle. Louisiana Farm Bureau Insurance. Real service, real people.
Welcome back to the Louisiana Business and Industry Show with Tim Johnson.
Welcome back to the Louisiana Business and Industry Show. I'm very pleased to welcome a close personal friend, Carey Guglielmo, president and owner of the AST Marketing Group. My friend, welcome.
Tim, thanks for having me.
Glad you're here. Let's talk about your background. I want to know who Carey Guglielmo is. As I mentioned in the open, one of our state's new, bright, young entrepreneurs, launching a business. But how did you get started in the sports industry, the business side of that?
Sure, thanks, Tim. My uncle, the late Joe Dean Sr., was in the business, and I didn't know what I wanted to do. My senior year at Ole Miss, didn't know at all what I wanted to do. And fortunate, JoJo helped me. I went and got my master's in sports marketing from a school called Ohio University, and he continued to actually help me. Got on with a sports marketing firm, Advantage International. That led through some networking to working for Nike almost really 20 years ago. And that's the quick story how I got involved in the sports business. We're
going to talk about that career at Nike because it was a distinguished career at Nike. But I want to go back to Joe Dean Sr. because that,
sure.
Joe was the conduit that put us together back years ago at the old Dixie basketball camp that's about to celebrate its 50th year. Hard to believe. But I know the kind of impact that Joe Sr. and of course Joe Jr. as well, the whole
Sure.
Dean family had on my life and my time at Dixie basketball camp as both a player and a coach, and the discipline and the work ethic and the sweat and the things that we learned there. He was your uncle, so I know he had a tremendous impact on your life in many ways. Talk about your relationship with Joe and the time that he was athletic director and the real impact that he's had in helping to mold who you are today.
Sure. Well, that's a great question. I appreciate it. He passed a little bit less than a year ago, and just an amazing man. Hard to believe. I took my son to Summit this past summer for his third camp at Dixie, and the impressions that they have made, the entire Dean family, as you mentioned, on the youth throughout the Gulf Coast is just amazing. But he was really an icon in the sports business. A lot of people don't realize this. I mean, before his AD years at LSU, he was basically the president and owner. He ran Converse Rubber Company based out of Boston back in the Dr. J days, Chris Everett, Jimmy Connors, Larry Bird.
When Converse was the king.
Oh, they were 80% plus market share at that time, and he was a legend back then, and then he actually became the AD when he was 60 years old. So needless to say, he was closer than an uncle to me. He was very close to my father, very close to my mother. My mother and his wife were extraordinarily close. They were sisters, and hard to even describe the overall impression that he made on me.
Well, and he's made an impact on so many. Anyone who has followed basketball at LSU or in the Southeastern Conference will never forget his calls on the old Jefferson Pilot game of the week with John Ferguson, and you know the phrase he coined, string music, people will use forever. But let's start to talk about the AST Marketing Group.
Sure.
20 plus years at Nike, Nike Golf. I want to know a little bit more about your role there and some of the things you did and some of the successes you had. So, but let's talk about that, and then tell us about AST Marketing Group and what led you to the decision to get started there.
Sure. Well, if I had never been at Nike, frankly, Tim, there's no way I'm not that smart. I would have never had the nerve to do what I've done. Unbelievable company, 25 plus billion today. Bought a lot of different companies. I started out as a sales rep, graduated to a national account manager, handling some larger big box retail accounts. In the last 6 or 7 years, I was a regional sales manager, managing sales reps throughout the Southeast, and learned a ton, made some mistakes, met just an amazing number of people, an extraordinary, I mean, it flew over 2 million miles. And I would just say, as far as broadening my overall scope over those close to 20 years, it was amazing. So I owe a lot to the company. They did a lot for me, and even more so than the company, some amazing friends who are still there, a few that have moved on, but quite a few who are still there mean a lot to me.
Great contacts in the industry that no doubt are helping you and will help you as you go along in your own business now. But like a lot of folks, you had that entrepreneurial spirit. You wanted to be out there on your own. You saw an opportunity that maybe there was a niche for your skill set and your experience. So you make the decision with a friend and a previous co-worker, a gentleman by the name of Billy Hale, and I want to talk more about the legendary Billy Hale a little bit later. But lead us through the decision-making process in terms of a good, stable, long-term career at Nike, but this real desire to do something for yourself.
Sure. Well, you know, I'd really never done business in Baton Rouge or South Louisiana. I was very fortunate to move back home with my wife 15 years ago, and I just went to the airport. And that was my business, was outside of Baton Rouge and outside of Louisiana. So I had a desire to do business in our backyard. So did my partner, Billy Hale. So that was a big piece of it. It's always had this dream of owning my own business. Possibly my children could get involved, and had seen that there was a niche within this corporate sector that we felt was very unique. And it was being serviced, but maybe not to the degree maybe that we thought we could bring to the table. And really about 3 years ago is when I started really seriously putting pen to paper and saying, you know what, I think there's a shot if we can put the appropriate team together that we can make some noise and not just do business, be headquartered here, but also due to our supply chain and network, do a lot of business outside the state as well, but of course the focus being in Louisiana.
We've got about a minute left in this segment, so I want to touch on it. We may have to carry it over, but you were very fortunate because as you describe him and as folks know him, Billy Hale is your business partner. He decided to come on board with you, really a legend within Nike. So talk about your ability to attract him into the company and what it's meant for you as you start up.
Well, great question. He's a heck of a lot more important in the company than I am. He's a Terra grad. We met 35 years ago at at Bocage Racket Club here in town. 35 years ago we met. He took me under his wing when I was at Nike. I was young, naive, very green. Taught me many things, coached me through some mistakes I made. I use the word legend quite often. I think I've used it to you off air. He truly is a legend within the hallways at Nike. Amazing what he's accomplished, and frankly, if I didn't have him as a partner, there is no way that I would have had the nerve to do this.
But it really does allow you to hit the ground running. We're going to take a break. We come back. I want to talk specifically about what AST Marketing does, the services and the products that you provide.
Great.
We're visiting with Carey Guglielmo. He's the president and owner of the AST Marketing Group, and you're watching the Louisiana Business and Industry Show on Cox Sports.
The Louisiana Business and Industry Show will be back right after this.
BIC Media Solutions is a marketing and communication, media advisory, and event planning company within BIC Alliance. BIC Media Solutions offers custom book publishing, event planning, and keynote speaking to its clients in the business and industrial sector, and marketing partnerships to others in publishing. BIC Alliance is your business and industry connection. Contact BIC Alliance today.
At Peak Performance Physical Therapy, we treat the athlete in everyone, from the Grand Slam hitter to grandparents. If your doctor prescribes physical therapy, ask for Peak Performance by name, getting you back in the game of life.
Hello, I'm Eric Edwards with the Livingston Parish Convention and Visitors Bureau. Find out now what's going on in Livingston Parish. We have over 400 nautical miles of waterways. Tee it up at our great world-renowned golf courses. Shop at our antique districts, or come to Bass Pro, our #1 retailer. There's a lot to do in Livingston Parish that you never imagined. It's all happening right here in Livingston Parish. For more information, go online at visitlivingstonparish.com.
At Peak Performance Physical Therapy, we treat the athlete in everyone, from the three-point shooter to the three-piece suit. If your doctor prescribes physical therapy, ask for Peak Performance by name, getting you back in the game of life.
Welcome back to the Louisiana Business and Industry Show with Tim Johnson.
Welcome back to the Louisiana Business and Industry Show. I'm pleased to be joined by my friend Carey Guglielmo, who is president and owner of a new company that's headquartered in Baton Rouge, the AST Marketing Group. And Carey, we're going to get into what the AST Marketing Group does and what it provides, but you know, what we like to talk about a lot on this show is how special Louisiana is, how special South Louisiana is, and particularly this greater Baton Rouge area where we are, New Orleans, Lafayette, these great markets that we sit in here, and all the economic development that's going on. You mentioned how important Baton Rouge is to you, but why was it so important that your company be headquartered here?
Well, yeah, AST, those are my children. AS is Ann Scott, my 10-year-old who's at St. Aloysius, and T is Tripp, Carey Gugliemo III, who's my 12-year-old from St. Aloysius. And it's really because of them, I would say, more than anything. Our extended family, I was the only one in my large family to go away to school, grad school, and then live in different cities. That was a big piece of it. It was critical that Billy lived in 8 cities in 25 years at Nike Inc., North America. It was a big piece of the equation for him. Obviously, all of the economic growth that's going on in South Louisiana. And as I mentioned earlier, I had never done business by any stake in South Louisiana. So those were the prime reasons, you know, and it's home. And also, my late uncle used to talk about this. You know, getting on those planes every week, that can get to you. That wasn't as important. It was the family piece for Billy and I was the most important thing. But getting off those planes helped.
So, like a lot of folks, you're working with a company. You're developing some expertise and some skill, long-term experience, and you make the decision 3 years or so ago that, you know, maybe I can do this for myself, and maybe I can stay off these airplanes as much as I am. And so you guys launch AST Marketing Group. Tell us exactly what you do. What products do you provide? How do you do it? What differentiates AST Marketing Group from others in the sector that might be doing the same thing?
Sure. We like to believe that we do have a unique niche and that we go to market in a different manner. We like to believe that. There's a lot of different points of product that you can sell to the corporate sector, but basically what we do is we supply merchandising needs for companies. Everything from employee wardrobe to employee uniforms, client swag, employee incentives. We have a very, very aggressive import program from overseas. Billy and I have a lot of experience in that area that we've brought to market. We're also very, very bullish on these employee web stores that add some operating efficiencies and some P&L savings to large companies. So that's a big part of our portfolio. So many times, Tim, we go in our initial meetings, we don't talk anything about product. And I will say we are very, very, very bullish on our supply chain. We're direct with many, many, many companies due to our network. And
tell us about some of those companies that you work with.
It's important because it's diverse, the supply chain that caters to the corporate sector. We're direct with companies such as Nike, Drake Waterfowl, and many, many, many others. And that plays into the equation of how we can go to a company and from A to Z perspective, handle their merchandise needs.
It really is a unique business model, as I've seen from you guys, in terms of what you're able to provide. So let's talk about those differentiators specifically. A lot of people provide merchandise. A lot of people provide, the stuff from branded coffee cups all the way to uniforms, to nice golf shirts, to hats, to all of those things. Why is AST Marketing Group different?
Well, we bring non-Me Too products to the marketplace. And what is, every company, what's sacred to them, among other things, is their brand.
Right.
And we feel that we can be disciplined within their business structure while at the same time elevating their brand, which is, of course, is critical to them. So we talk about that a lot.
Well, and I think those are, as we talk to businesses, that idea of what separates you is always critical. Now, one of the things that caught my eye as I researched you guys early on. You were on the radio show a few weeks ago, and we looked at that. And as I saw information coming out about your company early on as you guys launched, was you have put together an extremely impressive board of directors. Tell us a little bit about that. I know Joe Sr., as we've talked about a lot, serves sort of in an emeritus, kind of role there. But talk about your board of directors and the expertise that they bring you from a business perspective.
They've been an unbelievable foundation for us. Actually, they've been in place for some 24 months. Jay Toops with Coca-Cola has been an integral part of our board, huge customer of ours. T. Brown, big part of the financial community with GMFS here in town, has offered a lot of guidance. GMFS has also been a great customer to us. Mark Cuvion, formerly of Tiger Advertising, brought a lot of guidance on the marketing and the advertising front. Mark knows a lot of people. Todd Stevens at Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center in the healthcare sector has been great to us. My father is our attorney. I think I told you that at least to date so far he's not sent us a bill yet.
That's pretty good.
I'm waiting for the first bill.
Well, I happen to know that your father is a very well-respected attorney, so you're getting great free legal advice up to this point, right?
Well, thanks. We're real proud of our board. There's some other individuals, Tony Curlis with Merrill Lynch, Patrick McGee with Pro Ventures, Tom Kellogg with Parsons Kellogg, and I hope I'm not leaving anybody out that live in other sectors of the country that have been great to us.
But to be able to tap into individuals with that kind of business experience, the success that they've all had, what has it really meant to you in terms of getting AST Marketing Group started? How do you rely on them?
Sure. Well, they've been a great extension of our network, I would say, from a business development perspective. All of these individuals are very successful in their own right. They're in a myriad of different segments of business. And then lastly, I've never done this. Billy had some experience early on in starting a company, but to be able to pick up the phone and just, whether it's a financial or marketing question, a PR question, and ask for some guidance has been a huge help.
Really valuable to anyone starting up a business. We're going to take a break. We come back, I want to talk about what the future holds for AST Marketing Group. We're visiting with Carey Guglielmo. He's the president and owner of the AST Marketing Group, and you're watching the Louisiana Business and Industry Show on Cox 4.
The Louisiana Business and Industry Show will be back right after this.
Hi, I'm Joe Martin, president of ITI Technical College. Do you want a better life?
Get your associate's degree in occupational studies in information technology from ITI. In 2 years, you'll be on your way to a better life. You will get hands-on specialized training in computers, hardware and software, networking, and more. ITI offers flexible class schedules, and financial aid is available to those who qualify.
So don't wait. Call ITI now or go online. It's that simple.
ITI for a better life.
The funny thing about Louisiana is that people don't often ask you why you moved home. They just accept it as the most natural thing in the world. Because of course I would want to move back home and be near my tribe, be in this beautiful landscape. It just inspires me. Whether it's a golden marshland, an expanse of sugarcane fields, a sunset through a cypress swamp, the outdoors here really are like nowhere else. You can start your day off paddling at Lake Martin, finish it off with music at the Blue Moon. I came home for my dream job, but also because I believe in Louisiana and where it's going. We're building a world-class Central Park in Louisiana, planned by the members of this community. And I just bought my dream home, a sustainable house designed and built by the architecture students here at the university. My electricity bill was $30 last month. The life I thought I would have in Austin is actually happening right here in Louisiana. I'm E.B. Brooks. I have the job I want in the place I love.
Welcome back to the Louisiana Business and Industry Show with Tim Johnson.
Welcome back to the Louisiana Business and Industry Show. We're visiting with Carey Guglielmo, the president and owner of the AST Marketing Group. You guys have, you're off and running. I mean, you guys have done great stuff already. You're building a very impressive client list early on in the company. So let's talk about some of the clients that you're working with and some of the ways you're helping them with their merchandising needs.
Sure, no, thanks. So we, generally speaking, there's exceptions to this, but generally speaking, we target companies of 500 employees and north of that. Coca-Cola, GMFS, I mentioned those. LaBerge has been a supporter of ours, doing some business with Cajun Construction, and I could go on and on and on, but there's a lot of companies locally that have been great to us.
Yeah, and you know, you see on your website, and you and I talked about marketing and how critical Facebook is even becoming what you're doing. And so every time you sign on with a new customer, I know you're putting that information on Facebook. I do some working out at Traction, the training facility, and I know you guys are working with Mac Chiwilli and that sort of thing. So you got to be really proud of that and what you're building there. This is a question, Carey, that I like to ask a lot of our guests who are starting businesses, who have become very successful at whatever they're doing. What advice do you give maybe some viewer that's out there who's thinking, you know, I'd like to start my own business? Maybe they've been working as you did for a company for years and years and years, and they've developed that expertise, that experience, and they say, you know, I'd like to do what he's done. How do you convince someone to sort of jump off the cliff?
Yeah, I would point to two things. I would point, first of all, you've got to ask the questions, and you've got to ask for guidance on all areas of the business. And back to the board, I mean, they were amazing to myself and others that were part of AST. And I would even say more than that, Tim, that ultimately at the end of the day, you have to believe in yourself. And there are doubts that creep in at different times for whatever reasons. You get comfortable. I surely was guilty of that, maybe even a little stale. But inspire yourself and believe in your talents and your abilities.
Doesn't make it any less scary, so to speak. I can remember when I was making the decision to leave the Shaw Group years ago and go full-time in my own consulting business. You know, you plan and you think about it, and you think you've got everything in place, but you always have this fear that you're leaving something out. And I can remember thinking about it, working on it, praying about it, and just one Sunday afternoon I sat down at home and I picked up a Reader's Digest, and I just happened to open it to look through it, and I opened it to a quote, and the quote said, to the page I opened, a wise man said, jump off the cliff. You'll learn to fly on the way down. And so any of us who go into business for ourselves, right, that's part of the whole idea is you know you're not going to be able to prepare for it all. And sometimes the mistakes you make are the things that you learn most from. Has that been your experience?
Oh, I mean, unbelievable. You learn something. I mean, what I have learned in just the past 8 weeks, I can't even measure it. And as important in that, I've never been more inspired in my life. And you can't put a value on that.
And it makes you want to wake up and get after it early every morning, because there's something special about working for yourself and owning your own company and being your own boss and going out there and doing good work for your clients. We got a little more than 2 minutes left, so I want to go into some detail. What's on the horizon for the AST Marketing Group? What are your expansion plans from here?
Sure. We are thrilled with our progress from a business development perspective, what we've been able to accomplish over the summer. So we got a lot in the hopper right now with some big companies, which is a great thing. It's imperative that we finish we go through, enter the fourth quarter and finish the fourth quarter strong, establish ourselves for calendar 15. We fully expect to hire 3 to 4 individuals in calendar 15. Our import program is going to go to a next level, and I mentioned our our web store, the employee merchandise web store program, which is going to go. That's a big focus for us, and we just recently launched that, and that's going to be play a big part in our plans in calendar 15.
Well, but again, as we talked about in the show open, it is entrepreneurs who create small businesses, and small businesses are what create employment and really generate the revenue for our economy, and they're the backbone of what we do, and they're critically important. So as you look at and think about bringing on 3 to 5 people in the calendar year of 2015 and the responsibility that brings, it's both awesome to think about and a little bit scary, but I know that you and Billy together are prepared. Website information. How do we get more information on the AST Marketing Group?
Sure. In fact, we just updated our website. It's astmarketinggroup.com. The individuals, the principals in the company are listed there, our phone number, and we'd love to hear from you. That's really the best way to get to us.
So if I'm out there, I'm in a company, and I have specific merchandising needs, be it high-end golf shirts, whatever it might be, AST Marketing Group is the spot I need to research and the folks I need to call.
We'd like to think so. We can accommodate any need.
Well, listen, buddy, good luck to
Tim,
you.
thanks
Congratulations
for
on
having me.
your
I appreciate
start.
it.
I know you're off to a wonderful start, and we'll look forward to having you back on the show sometime
Thanks so much.
soon. That's a wrap, guys. Join us again next week at this very same time for another edition of the Louisiana Business and Industry Show on Cox 4.